Okay.
Hello, everyone. We're back with our focused session, going the extra mile with your cybersecurity career, and we have John McNicholas as a speaker.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I'm happy to be here. I'll go through a few things, but I would love to, we'll definitely take questions. I want to hear from you. I have 22 years in cyber experience in cybersecurity. So I definitely want to just share some of the experiences I've had and what has helped me helped me so far in my cybersecurity career. Yeah, I first start out, and this is if you've been with the first panel, you've heard this a few times, but volunteer, get involved in network. And when I say volunteer and getting involved, that really can be done at the same time. And there's a lot of local security groups that are fantastic. And a lot of these have low fees to become a member of. And you can even talk to them. And if you're a student, they have student rates. Because the one organization I belong to, ISSA, it's I'd say about $150 a year, but the student rate is about $50. But contact these groups, talk to them. We understand if people are on a tight budget, students, just certain situations, you may not be able to come up with the money for that. So just contact the group, and it goes into volunteering. Maybe the group needs secretary, treasurer, things like that. Just people to set up their events. These events take some time setting up, and I enjoyed a lot. The one group I used to be involved with, I was the program chair, and it helped me build my extend my network because I would reach out and contact people that I met through B-sides, and we'll talk about that, and that's been mentioned. But meetings like that, local security groups, you meet these folks, and then you can petition them to come to one of your meetings, and even virtually. So there's a lot you can do with that. But volunteering and getting involved are huge, and they build on the third point that I mentioned. That helps your network. It's a difficult job market out there for cybersecurity folks. It's You hear a lot about automation and AI starting to take away some entry level positions. That's why we have to go the extra mile. That's why we have to get volunteer and get involved. And I'll mention some of these groups, and please feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn because I can try to find out who the local chapter is. I've worked with many of the groups in the Philadelphia area. So I can find who's running the group in your area. A lot of these groups are in the US, but some of these groups are international as well. So some of the groups that I've really enjoyed working with and being a part of are the first groups, Women in Cybersecurity. In the Philadelphia area, they're a very active group. They have frequent meetings, networking events. It's a great way to meet people, and it's a great way to meet like-minded individuals. Black Girls Hack is another great group. I've been on calls with the chief operating officer of that group. Very dynamic person, gets involved. The story of how she got into cybersecurity was great. She was on an IT help desk. She got involved. She did things that no one else wanted to do. So that enabled her and it got the attention of management. And that's how she moved into the cybersecurity career. And now she's an executive. That's they're the type of people you're going to meet in these groups. Local OWASP group, and OWASP is application security, web applications. They get involved in a lot more as well. They have AI guidelines now. They're a great group. They have local chapters. They're an international group. That's another great one. And then you have ISC Squared. They are involved with a lot of certifications, the CISSP, CCSP, Certified in Cloud Security Professional. And please tell me, I'm trying not to use acronyms that you can't assume when you use acronyms, especially with my government experience. I can use acronyms and just assume people know. So please, in the questions or the comments as we talk, I'll try not to, but if I use any, please feel free to ask me what they were. Meetup groups. It's another great way to get involved as well. AWS meetup groups, AI groups. I know they have a lot of local where I'm at, really great groups. And these are people, a lot of them are free. The meetup groups, I've never had to pay a fee. There's no club to join per se. So they're a great option. And also InfraGard. InfraGard's a great organization. It's a partnership between the FBI and the private sector. They are a free organization as well. Feel free to contact me about them. I've been involved with them since 2008. You meet some great individuals. I went to a meeting about a month ago, and one person was talking about AI and just how that, companies or organizations are using it, and it's a lot of food for thought. You take what you learned and the topics that are covered at those meetings, and you build on that. And that helps you, go the extra mile with that. And there are a lot of groups that I've mentioned, but sometimes you can find the group that's the best fit for you. InfraGard is a great group if you're looking. It's a great group, period. It also has benefits if you're looking at getting into federal work. If you wanted to work for the FBI one day, things like that, you would meet people in those fields. And if you concentrate on groups, ISACA, they're CISA, Certified in Information Security Auditor. That certification is for IT audits. So that group is going to be more of a governance, risk, and compliance IT audit professionals. So that would definitely help there. That would definitely help get, that certain group right there. And another group that we're all a part of here is the NIST NICE Cybersecurity Ambassadors Program. It's a great program that it's helping people, students, and we're looking at veterans and other folks get into the cybersecurity field. We're working with the students to work with small businesses, and we're helping the people work with the students, work with the small businesses, and build their best security practices. These small businesses don't have the resources. Small business, it's difficult to start. It's difficult to keep afloat. They don't have the resources to get involved most of the time with cybersecurity. There's no CISO in a small business. So by working with groups like this in this Cybersecurity Ambassador Program, we're giving people who want to get involved with cybersecurity and helping them work with people who need the cybersecurity. Please feel free to contact me about any of these groups. I'm more than happy to get you involved in that. And if you are with an organization now, say you're working in project management, say you're working in just traditional IT, with any of them, if you want to get involved with cybersecurity, try to build your skills yourself. Your career is your own responsibility. And the reason I say that is I've worked with some folks before that would say, I don't want to go to that training, or I don't feel like learning that, or that's not my job. That's a difficult attitude to have when you're looking to get into a dynamic field such as cybersecurity. People will notice you going the extra mile, you taking that job that no one wants to do, you working those IT help desk tickets. And I know just working with the customers, going the extra mile with the customers, that will be noticed. I know sometimes it may not feel like that, but in my career, it has been. Has it been noticed all the time? No. And I know that can be difficult. You're working a 12-hour shift. You're on a NOC, Network Operations Center, Security Operations Center. And some of the customers, some of the public can be difficult because security is a business decision. And it's up to the company to do that. Say if you're working with a Security Operations Center and you're providing those services, it can be difficult. But if you learn the new skills and go a little further than some of your peers, some of your teammates, that really will help. And it's a good way of looking at that.
John, this is Amazing. Love it. And the chat is just so many questions. So we're going to go lightning
Please.
round. We got lots of questions to go. So I'm going to just pop them on the screen here, and then Francesca and I will trade off on asking them. So question, many companies expect real world experience, even for entry-level roles. What's your advice for closing that gap while still in school?
That's a great question. And you know what's unfortunate? I will say, and I am not a pessimist, but I will say today, you'll see entry-level positions looking for 7 years of experience. That's not entry level. And I feel like a lot of organizations are missing the boat by not upscaling and promoting from within. But to your point, volunteer. You volunteer and you set this up. Some of the groups when I was early on, I volunteered with, I would I would help them, work with pen testers who, were new to it. Like once you start meeting people and you volunteer, maybe you volunteer with an OWASP group and you do some work pro bono. And what I mean by that, I'm going to work within this program and work with these small businesses and take my governance, risk, and compliance experience and help them improve their security posture. So it's closing. Now I want to stick to the question. Real world experience doesn't have to be a current or a previous job. Real world experience could be you got to make sure you got to make sure you do it on a budget, but you stand up some AWS instances. You go in there and you can do it real cheap, only have them running when you need it, only have them running exactly when you're working on it, but you try to get the hands-on experience that way and just try to do the work pro bono. I would recommend, honestly, getting involved in those groups, because you get involved with those groups, you meet people saying, hey, we're helping do a security audit for a local church group. They don't have the resources, but one of the other church groups that they deal with got hacked or was in a ransomware. And it doesn't, with the technical experience can be a little more difficult to get that experience, but take your security best practices and you apply them, you learn them, you hone them. Just by talking to groups and working with those, volunteer opportunities, just to be careful with, your email, just to not click on links. Like, you'll get a spam event. It's a shame. It's a lot of older folks, it seems, that they try to target there, because I've had, more older folks contact me. I just got an email about my PayPal account. Well, you don't have a PayPal account, so definitely don't click on that link. But volunteer and to get involved. If you volunteer, the opportunities will present themselves.
So another question is, what are some open source cybersecurity tools like Nmap, Wireshark, Kali Linux that students can learn and experiment with to get hands-on technical experience?
Yeah, Kali Linux is probably the one-stop shop. I would recommend that. You can download an ISO with that. You can burn it onto a thumb drive. You can make it non-persistent, so you just load it up off your laptop. And you can also use YouTube videos to do safe training exercise with it. Please, I've worked with folks and known folks before that they started scanning their the local city offices. Don't do that. Please make sure you're in a secure playground. And that's where you set up OpenBox. Yeah, set up some VMs. You kind of go doing that where, you have 3 VMs going, and then you use Nmap to scan them. Get the best security learn the best security practices and apply that to those tools. I think Kali Linux is really the way to go. Kali Linux is the way to go. But there's a lot of free versions of software you can use. Nessus, I think the most popular vulnerability scanner, you can use that in a personal license for a few days, a week or so. You get that, you set it up, and just go through the steps, familiarize yourself with the tool. The Kali Linux, I think that's the best, but get involved in the local B-sides. You start working with those folks, and if the B-sides say it's $100, volunteer at the local B-sides. and you start meeting these folks where most cybersecurity folks are always eager to help because they remember when they got into the field.
Next question. What's the extra mile in learning documentation? How do you document workflow in your work, and what software do you use?
That's a great question. No one ever brings up documentation. I love that there's a question on it. Documentation is so important. It's so difficult. It's so time consuming. That's why AI, I know it's got its negatives with security. You just have to be careful with data you're loading in there. It's now training data because you're the product. You really are with AI. I mean, as long as you use it smartly, and I'm always looking for a good way. I'm looking to set myself up in Amazon so I can make it private, so I can load my personal information there, but no, it's not going anywhere. But the extra mile in learning documentation, that's a great question. You have certain things like Jira and other tools like that are good for documentation. I don't know of a good open source free version of that. What I would do, just get in the habit of use AI to document your processes, and you put them in Google Docs. If you get in a good habit of being meticulous and having an attention to detail there, that's going to be huge because they're living documents. They really are. And documents, policies, procedures, they all build off that. But how to document workflow, I don't know of any good open source. I wish I did. I would say Jira, honestly. I mean, but I don't think that's open source. I would use Google Docs and things like that. And I would use AI to create workflows and to research, some good open source. I'm going to look into that. That's a great question. I'm going to look into that and get back to you. I love that you brought up documentation. I'm a big fan. I know that sounds strange. Okay.
What mindset should early professionals adopt to keep growing sustainably? Sustainable.
Be inquisitive. Be inquisitive, and you're always going to have stressful situations. Look at them as opportunities. Because if you're in a situation like, well, we need this tool, but it's not working like this, or we need to get this done in this amount of time, look at it as an opportunity to further your professional knowledge and development, because you're always going to run into them. But if you see it as an opportunity to learn, as opposed to being backed in a corner, or management doesn't understand, or my boss is this or that, if you use it as an opportunity to learn, and I try to take that attitude in life as well, because there's always so many difficult things, and it's more with less. You're not going to, especially in the field today, you're not getting more people to help you. Honestly, they're using, and I love AI, I love automation, things like that. But look at it as an opportunity to build yourself professionally, and it'll work out. If you keep moving forward with that, that'll be great.
Okay, so continuing on with that, as a fresher with no experience in cybersecurity yet, how to land a job in cybersecurity?
It's volunteer and get involved in a local community, and that'll help you build your network. Once you start to build your network and build your knowledge as well, it's amazing today. YouTube, Discord, Twitter, X. It's the amount of information you can learn free. And there are stuff like Udemy, Coursera. I love them as well. But just, events such as this, you're learning, this is networking. Just please feel free to reach out to me, because I want to help those coming up like I was. And also, this brings look into getting a mentor. Looking at once you get involved in these groups and you're working with these groups and you're helping them set up the event, you're setting up the chairs, you're cleaning the table, things like that, mundane tasks like that, that after a few meetings are going to go, so-and-so was really helpful. So-and-so helped us with this. After a certain amount of time, you might be able to get on the board. And then once you get on the board, you start to build the network, and the vendors that come to the meetings, the other folks that come to the meetings, you'll start to build that network. And as you learn yourself, and look in this, Security Plus is a great certification. That is one of the first certs. And ISC Squared has the competence in cybersecurity. It's called CC. I'm not 100% sure what that acronym means, but it's free. And I say free with the silly little quotes. I think it costs you $50 after you pass the test to become a part of ISC Squared. But that CC certification is a great way to move forward. That with your personal learning and getting involved in networking and volunteering. That's, I think, the best way, because it is tough in this landscape right now. But volunteering and building it. Is it possible to fully replace the human workforce with AI and cybersecurity, and what are the implications? I don't think anytime soon. I think that AI is a tool. It is a tool. It's great for automating tasks. It's great for, I mean, it does everything. And there's generative AI. It's driving cars. I know it does so much more. But I see it in cybersecurity as a great tool for a SIM, for example, the log aggregator. That is some really mundane work to go through that. Now, if you train it and tune it properly, you can use AI automation to start to build your normal network traffic. You get down your network posture. Okay, these systems talk to these systems. Get your baseline down using AI, and then it can help you start to notice anomalies. But the implications of AI, it is getting more difficult. This is what I've been hearing from counterparts. It is getting more difficult there are not as many entry-level positions. That is, I think, the implication, because I've heard Duolingo and a couple other companies they say they're looking for programmers, software developers with 10 years experience or over. So to get into some of these companies as a software developer is a lot harder than it was. I'm not saying it's not, we're going to need software developers. We're going to need, I see AI as a very, very complex tool that makes our job easier. But it is streamlining some processes that used to be manual. And we have to go the extra mile. We have to network. We have to get involved. We have to learn the next thing. We have to learn how to use AI effectively to make our local, to be more efficient for the organization.
What are some real-world cybersecurity threats you think students should start studying and simulating now?
Cybersecurity threats that I would start studying, honestly, is the advanced persistent threats. They're the first thing that comes to my mind, like these nation-state actors, Salt Typhoon, things like that. The group that's supposedly coming supported by the the Chinese government. It's amazing how they're going about it, and if you learn the processes, or if you study how those advanced persistent threat actors got into the network, how they went through the network, how they built on their presence in the network. If you learn how they went about it and then learn the best practices, it could have kept them out. Salt Typhoon, it hit a lot of organizations, some telecom, and there's still probably a lot in the United States that don't even know they're involved with it. They exploited software on, I think it was Cisco devices, that in 2021, 2022, that vulnerabilities that were patched on 2018. Best practices would have said within 30 days, a critical exploit should be patched. So if you start to become involved with the cybersecurity news, with the blogs, with the podcasts are a great way to stay current and start to learn what's going on in the cybersecurity. There's a podcast called Security Now with Steve Gibson. It's one of my go-to. I listen to it at least once a week. There's cybersecurity headlines that goes over the daily things that are happening. And if you learn what's going on, then you learn, okay, this was hacked. They did this. They, the code, the malicious code just sat in the memory. So if you restarted your phone, it was helping out, things like that. Like if you learn what the best hacking groups, those APTs, are doing, you could start learning the best practices. and learning how would I have defended against that? What would I have done if I was in that organization? What should they have done to prevent that? And simulating now, open box, you can start up VMs. I would actually, the best way I think to train on a low budget with not many resources, to start up VMs and use a Kali Linux instance to scan and try to hack those VMs.
So the last question is, how can cybersecurity professionals effectively integrate AI in machine learning without over-relying on automation for decision-making?
I would go with, I think one of the uses for AI to effectively integrate AI, I would try to let it free up your time for critical thinking. Like AI is great, but it's still not, the most powerful system on the planet, which is a human brain. So you want to do the difficult, you want to keep to yourself maybe the difficult tasks, and you pull knowledge from AI, but like the true innovation, most of that's being done by the humans, because as complicated and as ingenious as a AI, a learning language model, is, it's only going from information that it learned. That's really, it's not coming up with anything new. I know sometimes it's taking the information and building on it. I know it can, but true innovation is being done by humans. So if you could spend the time innovating and less time with doing, pulling the logs, just reviewing the logs, things like that, some mundane tasks that are taking some of your time, you can use AI, to help become more innovative and to stay innovative, because I think that's the human's greatest strength. We are innovative. We always have been. We created AI. And, for the next few years, AI, we're much more innovative. And I think we will be for the foreseeable future.
Thank you so much, John, for being part of this panel. We're going to go to the next panel now with Thomas. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.